and truth go boom. Good morning, good morning. If your man acting up or your woman losing she mind, right we don't hide till we inside, 'cause the ladies' room go set it right. Welcome, welcome to the ladies' room, where real men talk and truth go boom. Good morning, good morning. If your man acting up or your woman losing she mind, right we don't hide till we inside, 'cause the ladies' room go set it right. Welcome, welcome to the ladies' room, where real men talk and truth go boom. Good morning, good morning. If your man acting up or your woman losing she mind, right we don't hide till we inside, 'cause the ladies' room go set it right.
Good morning again, everybody. Welcome back to the room, the ladies' room for today, Wednesday, November 12th. And as always, it's a pleasure to have you here. And of course, special thanks to our partners for making this segment possible. Nirvana Spa and Detox, Beacon Insurance, and the Western Union for powering up our ladies' room for yet another day. And this morning we've got another wonderful program ahead of us. And I'm going to need you guys to come in the room early and of course share the live. Good morning to our viewers on Facebook and of course YouTube. Those of you listening on radio 95.1, 95.3, thank you so much for powering up. If you're listening via the Power app and if you have not downloaded it as yet, I need you to do so. All right, that's right. You can go to the App Store on your iPhones, the Google Play Store on your Androids, search Power 95 FM Grenada, and that way you can take us with you wherever you go. Who's already here? Good morning, Shantae. Thank you so much for tagging the others as always. Come on in quickly, guys. Good morning, Glendon. And I want the guys to come in as well. Yeah? So those of you already here, welcome aboard. Good morning, Christelle, Rachel. Shout out to folks in the UK. I see you, seeing the flag. Good afternoon. Yeah. Good evening, good night to you, depending on where you are. Roxanne Scott, welcome to the room. My Canada peeps, good morning. Those folks in the US, yep, they're coming in. Good morning, Carol Belfon on YouTube. Vanessa St. John. Jackie Douglas Adams. Yeah, the countdown is on for your birthday, right? I'm so over you Scorpios, I swear. I had enough of y'all. It's like every day it's a lot of y'all. Your parents been busy, especially around this time. Morning, Andrea. Morning, Marvlin. Yvette James. Good morning. Nikisha, good morning. Shout out my Atlanta crew. Morning, Marianne, Linda, Shireen. Good morning, Clarina from the US. How you do? Good morning, Sonia. My Toronto and Montreal family. Good morning, Jenny Coutain. You love it, right? Me too. Hey, Karen Bailey. Hope you are so good today. Good morning again. Darren Oxford. Come on in the room, guys. So, good morning, Gabby. Happy Wednesday. I completely forgot yesterday was Veterans Day, and nobody reminded me because y'all were so busy in people's business, not even reminding me to say Happy Veterans Day to a couple people that I know who served. Anywho's, we're back at it again. So, like I said, we have a really, really, really thanks Roseanne. Says she absolutely loves the theme song. Me too. Nell, good morning. Good morning, Lisa. So we have a really, really nice program ahead of us. Now, my guest, it's his first time. So be nice, although he can handle y'all, I'm sure of that. And we've been talking for a while, and I'm like, you need to come in the room because he has his pieces on how some of y'all behavior, especially you men. You may or may not like him after today, but we'll see how that goes. But we're combining, health and all of that as well because that is what he does. So we'll give him a second to, of course, introduce himself. But just wanted to let you know who would want to see the special guest. Okay. So that's my special guest on the camera. Anyways, Dr. Amechi is here this morning today, and like I said, make sure you guys give him a warm ladies' room welcome. So, Doc, welcome to the room.
It's great to be here. Thanks for having me.
It's been a long time coming.
Yeah, for sure.
But you're here now. That's the most important thing. So, before we get into it, for the benefit of those just joining us, or probably who's never heard of you, maybe you can just take a minute or two to tell them who you are, what you do.
It won't take a minute.
I
Not
know.
at all. Dr. Amechi, I am the owner, proprietor, runner, general dog's body of St. Augustine's Medical Services, private hospital situated in St. Paul's, the lovely hills of St. Paul's in Grenada. I'm a GP, do the best I can by my patients, by my staff, and everybody around me. Try and keep the health and wealth going on in Grenada.
All right, but you did a good job. That was less than a minute.
We
It
do
worked.
try.
Because I'm sure if you want to sit down and really go into it, we'll probably use the entire 45 minutes. But that is, in a nutshell, what Dr. Amechi does, all right? And practically a little bit of who he is. So we'll get more in on that a little later on in the program. But I want to start it off by, dipping into the health side of things first, right? I want to start broad. And when we talk about women's health, what are some of the most common issues or challenges you see women facing today?
Well, we'll start with the physical side because a fair proportion of it is the mental side for women. Physical side, a lot of women in Grenada suffer with issues pertaining to their reproductive health. This is where it all starts from. If you do an ultrasound on 100 women in Grenada, you probably find 98% of them have fibroids, and all that goes with fibroids. Excessive bleeding leads to issues socially, also leads to things like anemia. Second thing we worry about with our females, and you see spin-offs of this, is diet. Poor diet. I have to be very careful how I choose my words here.
Be frank with the ladies' room. We're real. We keep it real.
Well, I hope so.
Yes.
We have this perception in the Caribbean that being of a large body size equates with beauty. Now, we're not going to body shame anybody, but the unfortunate thing is that excessive fat in the body leads to a lot more issues, okay? We have water retention. We have issues with diabetes. We have cardiovascular problems. So trying to keep an ideal height to weight ratio is important. Trying to keep your percentage of body fat down is important. So we get the spin-offs of all of that. Women, unfortunately, because of what they have to do in their day-to-day lives, tend to lead more sedentary lifestyles. So you're not doing a lot. You're not running around a lot. Especially nowadays when everybody's got a car and everybody's driving from A to B and back.
Like from right here to right there.
Exactly. So we're not exercising enough. So a lot of women tend to retain a lot more body fat, and we're starting to see issues with diabetes a lot more. We're starting to see cardiovascular issues a lot more. And then there is, how do we lose that? Add stress into the mix. Women run households. Women are single parents. Women are the primary breadwinner in Grenada. So you've got all that stress on top of them. Stress leads to endless issues, physical problems. Okay, you've got the headaches, the backaches, you've got issues with your menstrual cycle, and then that just spirals. We'll get into that a little bit later. Mental issues. Remember, I started with physical, and the other side is mental. Depression, low self-esteem, endless stress, and how are you going to make 1 + 1 make 2, or in some cases 1 + 1 make a half? Because if you are a single parent, you have got to get your kids off to school. You've got to clothe, feed them. You've got to maintain your own household. Where does that leave the poor lady? And again, she's got to keep down her job. Kids are sick. You got 2, 3 kids. You've got to handle all of that. Your employer is not willing to bend over because he's expecting you to produce for him. All of that adds to the stress. We got a lot of depression going on. All of that makes things a lot worse for the poor ladies out there.
So, in your experience, do you find that women are taking their health seriously enough, or do we still tend to put ourselves last while taking care of everyone else?
You tend to put yourselves last. That continues. It hasn't ended, hasn't stopped, and is actually getting worse. The only time when you have a couple that comes in and the husband is unwell, I prefer when the wife comes with the husband, because then you get the whole truth and nothing but the truth. Men come and sit in front of the doctor and they turn into little kids. Ask him, sir, what's wrong with you? Turns and looks at his wife. The wife then has to give me the entire history of what's going on. He doesn't want to say a word. So more stress again, but she's keeping it real. She's telling you like it is, whatever it is, she's the one that comes out with it. And half the time it's nothing. He's had a backache and he's afraid to say anything about that. It's like, no, you got a backache. It doesn't mean you're going to die. Doesn't mean you have cancer, but take responsibility for yourself. The women are the ones that do that. You turn around, you look at the lady, you can see and you read from her aura that she's not doing well. And you ask her, okay, what about you? How are you coping? How are you doing? And she's like, no, this is not about me. This is about him. Putting herself last to make sure that everybody else comes first. So women do not take enough ownership and care of themselves. At the end of the day, you cannot be responsible and look after somebody unless you're looking after yourself first. Number one has to be in peak physical and mental condition to be able to take care of everyone else.
I mean, I know you mentioned that stress, affects a woman's physical health. Stress and emotional well-being. And because sometimes we separate the two, but they are connected, right?
100%. Absolutely. Because if your mental and emotional well-being is not in balance and in sync, your physical health is going to suffer. The stress manifests itself physically. You get high blood pressure because if you're constantly wired and running and in a sense of fight or flight all the time, your blood pressure is going to be elevated because you got to be ready to fight or to flee. So over time, that leads to a constant and permanence of the blood pressure. It leads to heart disease. It can lead to stress. That leads to strokes. All of this, not good. The other thing is you tend to raise your cortisol levels. So you tend to pack on fat around your middle, more visceral fat, which then leads you to issues with diabetes. You start to add all this up together. No good. You're not sleeping well. You constantly have headaches. Your reproductive health will suffer. Your menstrual cycle goes off. It's off kilter. And again, next thing you end up being pregnant because your cycles are not synced. You can't time what you're supposed to do. Even though it's Russian roulette, we don't subscribe to that. That's not a good thing. But all of these things happen, and then you got even more headache on you and how to handle yourself. So yeah, stress kills. Stress causes a detrimental effect on your physical health. So it all starts with the mind. The mind is the most powerful organ in the body, and it controls the rest of your body.
I'm really, really happy that you're laying it on us like this, because a lot of the times we don't necessarily hear about preventative measures or what's causing stuff from doctors. To put it bluntly, doctors prefer you to be sick because it's a business at the end of the day. And
Absolutely.
you are also operating a business. But it's really refreshing from your end to have you speaking on this like this, because at the end of the day, you want people to be well, right? So in terms of what are some key health checks or screening every woman should be doing, especially as we get older or we go through different stages of life?
Most important for a woman to do is to make sure that you get all your routine and your bloods done. That includes checking your thyroid, because our diets don't help with our thyroid health either. And the thyroid is what basically it's the clock of your body. It makes sure you're running fast, slow, or just at optimum all the time. So check your bloods. Women menstruate every single month. You lose blood. You then have to make blood, okay? A lot of women are borderline anemic or even worse. So by checking on that, you make sure that you know where you are and you take your iron supplements, etc., and you have that conversation with your healthcare provider about your reproductive health, which is very important for a woman. The other thing is you need to check your breasts. Breasts are absolute key. We're finding younger and younger women presenting with breast cancer. I always like to tell my patients this. You wash your breasts every single day. When you're washing them, you use that opportunity to palpate your breast to make sure that everything's fine. During the course of your cycle, your breast tissue changes. It gets more dense prior to the period and less dense after the period. So you have to become very familiar with your breast tissue, because the doctor will not find the breast lump. You will find the breast lump and then go to the doctor, who will then examine it and tell you, oops, this doesn't feel good. We need to get it checked. We need a mammogram. We need an ultrasound, whatever, to check what's going on with this lump. So that is why it's important. The other thing we have to do is a little statistic here. The Caribbean has the 4th highest rate of cervical cancer globally. So pap smears, pap smear, pap smear, pap smear. Very important. Every year you've got to get this done. That is your reproductive health. That is your overall health. So pap smear, routine blood tests, breast exam every single year. You have a birthday every year, right?
So your birthday should be like
There
the
you
marker.
go. That's right.
I like that. So use your birthday as a marker. So instead of us asking for expensive perfumes and trips and what have you, go get yourself.
No, you
checked
could get
out.
those too, because you gotta spoil yourself. But there's no point having expensive trip, perfume, and all the bells and whistles if you are not well. Primary health care is important. Like you rightly pointed out, we're in the business of medicine. Business of medicine thrives on sick people. But it is important that we're honest with ourselves. We are here to look after people. So let us prevent the illness as opposed to trying to cure the illness.
Someone here is asking, when you mentioned about the breast, what exactly are you looking for? What exactly are you feeling that should not seem normal?
You're feeling for a lump. Your breast, imagine a bunch of grapes. A female breast is like a bunch of grapes. And you'll feel, it's never like soft and smooth all the time. You'll feel these little bits in there, but they feel normal. If you feel something, the worst thing to feel is a very hard, fixed lump. One you don't have to chase around to try and feel it. The ones you have to chase around to try and feel it are generally benign lumps. The ones that are fixed and static in your breast, that is trouble. The minute you feel that, don't sit there and think, next month I'll check it again and hope it goes away. Because next month will be too late. Same day, same time. Go get it checked.
And we do a lot of self-diagnosing, especially now with the internet. You're on ChatGPT, you're on WebMD. I probably died a million times on the WebMD from some of the diagnoses I got for sometimes little. When you go check it out, it's like nothing like that. But a lot of people do that.
But, there's a number of doctors that absolutely hate the internet, because patients will come up to us and they will present difficult things to us. But you see, what this proves to me is that you have a motivated patient, somebody who's interested in their health. They're interested enough to go and look it up and to come to you. And it's amazing. You as a doctor, me, I can learn a heck of a lot from my patients. People come along and you're like, wow, I wasn't even thinking that. So, okay. Remember, it's a combination of me and you. We get together, the doctor and the patient, to better your health. We learn from the patients learn from us. So come along with Dr. Google, come along with WebMD, and let's discuss it. And then together we can take that journey and figure out what's going on with you. But yeah, You know, invariably you go on these things and they tell you, okay, first thing, cancer, you're dying.
Yeah,
You know,
I
you
died
got
a
backache.
million times. I swear. What of cancers I've had already from WebMD. But you mentioned, of course, breast checking checking for the lumps, etc. And we often talk about listening to our bodies, right? What are some signs women should never ignore?
Ooh, that's a tough one. That is a tough one. First off, you got to know yourself. You have to understand yourself. You have to be able to feel yourself. You have to understand the rhythm of your body. If something is off and it's just not normal, like for instance, your periods are all over the place, that's one big indicator. You keep getting these sort of pelvic or abdominal pains and, gas.
Everything is gas.
Ingredient gas kills.
And
Everything
hot
is
cup of
gas.
tea fixes everything.
Yep. Well, okay. Yes, we have wind pains that migrate through our bowels all the time, and then come out the other end, and everything's fine. But if you find that it just doesn't feel right, and it knowing yourself is key. If you just feel, listen, something's wrong, it is always better to get it checked out. And you'll come to the doctor. You have 20 patients in the waiting room. You've got 5 hours to see everybody. We are under pressure with time. We try and get through people. But if you don't feel comfortable that you have not got the best out of the individual you're seeing, get a second opinion. Okay, You come and see me. We sit there and I'm like, okay, well, it's nothing much. Don't worry about it. You walk out there thinking, nah, I'm not satisfied. By all means, go and get a second opinion, because 4 eyes are better than two. 2 brains are better than 1, and you'd never know. All of our experiences are different. Somebody else might have seen this before in another patient and be able to better diagnose it. So, yes, as much as it's important to have faith and confidence in your physician, always keep an open mind. And if you are not convinced, speak up or seek a second opinion.
So, I'm seeing a lot of questions. I'm seeing a lot of comments. I'll try to get to them in the chat, but we have some questions of our own to get through first. All right. So, can you share your thoughts based on your experience on how diet, rest, and exercise can help regulate hormones and mood, especially with things like PMS, menopause, or even fertility struggles?
Oh, PMS is a tough one. Seeing that I've never had it, I really can't speak to PMS. Some women struggle with that very badly. Some women really have issues with hormones. But your diet is important. Let's draw the analogy of a car. Your vehicle runs on gasoline. You go to the gas station, put diesel in it. It'll run for a bit, but it won't run very well, and then it will break down. Same thing with your body. We need to have a balanced diet. We have to have protein. We have to have fats, and we have to have carbohydrates. Carbohydrates these days, a lot of processed foods not good for you. The more natural your food is, the better. Stay away from processed foods. These things are no good for you, okay? So the more natural and wholesome your food is, the better. You want to cook for yourself. You want to cook for yourself. Going and eating out, you don't know what people put in the food, how much salt there is in there, how much MSG there is in there. Not a good thing for you. So try the best you can to cook for yourself. Limit portion size. Very important. It is not necessary in one sitting to eat the amount of food that could feed a village in Africa every single day. Portion size is important. Exercise. If you don't use it, you lose it. Move, move, move. Exercise is important for your mental health as well. When you exercise 4 or 5 times a week, some people do it in the morning, it sets the mood for their day, outstanding. Some people do it in the evening, it allows you to decompress. So it helps with your mental health as well as your physical health. So you gotta exercise. Hormones, women, men don't suffer with hormone issues.
Y'all don't suffer with anything.
We don't suffer with anything.
Jeez.
At the age of
Y'all still
30,
stress us out.
all the time. At the age of 35, our testosterone levels drop, and we start to struggle a little bit, especially between the sheets. Women have these reproductive hormones which surge throughout the entire month. They come and they go. As women get nearer to menopause, these things wreak havoc on their mental and sometimes physical health. So Again, understanding and knowing your body and being able to speak out. The gynecologists out there can help you to regulate these things and make your life a little bit better.
Somebody is saying, how come our great grandparents and our parents lived longer with less issues? And I think it's as a result of what they ate. They grew and ate everything. It was no fast food every day. So that's why they had them living longer.
This is true, but remember, the average age of males and females have increased steadily throughout time. 50 years ago, the average age of male was early 70s. It is now mid to late 70s. Women, of course, because they don't do stupid things, live longer than men. So they tend to live a lot longer than we do.
It's interesting. But we seriously need to start looking at what we eat. But someone here is also saying, the fact that with women being the head of households, it's difficult to maintain and juggle and still come home to prepare a meal. And even within, but put that aside, I know of situations where there are two-member households, husband, wife, or boyfriend, girlfriend, man, woman, and both goes to work. Husband comes home earlier and he's sitting waiting for wife to come home to prepare the meal or prepare dinner. So all of that contributes to the same stress that we're talking about.
Yes, absolutely.
Why you laugh?
I'm laughing because the same thing happened last night, right? So my wife came home from work after me, all right? But I'm not about to sit there and starve. So I got up and I made dinner. When she turned up, she had dinner. But you see, we have a little thing going on. Whoever cooks doesn't wash. So therefore,
We could work with that.
yeah. So you see, we share the chores. But this is now we have no kids at home anymore. But back in the day when we did have children, she assumed the role of mother as well as working. Don't get me wrong here, as well as working. So she'd come home and prepare meals. I'm the one who was always in and out and running down and doing work. However, whenever we got the opportunity, I would definitely make sure that I cooked something or attempted to cook something. Now, it's never as good as her cooking, but you won't die when you eat it. The other thing these guys need to remember, we were all bachelors before we got hooked up with some woman, and we were alive. So stretch your hand, get out there, do something, relieve the stress on her, because guess what? She's going to be very appreciative and won't have a backache, headache, and not interested later on if that's where you're going.
So I want to look a little bit on do you believe in therapy and counseling, especially in women's health? Do you think that it can contribute to your overall health?
100%. Absolutely. It's key. It's very important because you need to be able to offload. It's very cathartic when you offload. And sometimes men don't do it enough. Women can't always trust their friends. So if you get out there and you offload to your friends, you might not be getting the best advice. But if you feel that you're spiraling and you need someone to talk to, counseling is very important and very beneficial.
Andrea is asking, Aruna, please ask the doctor if there are cases of, how do you pronounce that, Paget?
Paget's disease.
Paget's disease of the nipple in Grenada. I know of someone who was diagnosed, and this was the first time I've heard of this. So,
Oh yeah, definitely. I've seen a few of these, and doctors miss this as well. Paget's disease of the breast presents like a breast abscess.
that's what she says. It was presented as a stubborn rash in the area of the nipple, turned out to be a health scare.
Mm-hmm. Anything that does not look right on your breast is a problem until proven otherwise. So if you get this rash and it starts to weep, that is a danger sign. There's a lot of doctors come along and say, oh, that's just a rash, put some antibiotics on that, take some antibiotics, it's an ulcer, it's an abscess. No, ma'am. You need to take a swab of that. At the same time, you need to take a slide, you need to look at it and see if there are any cancerous cells in there. Because if there are, that is a very, very dangerous breast cancer and it's very quick moving. So you got to get on top of that quickly.
How would you encourage women to find balance? Not just in body, but mind and spirit. What are some of the things you can do to make your job easier?
I think educating yourself, understanding yourself, and also speaking up. You need to be your own best advocate. You got to speak up. If you have a concern, voice it. Ask the question. There's only one stupid question in this entire world, and that's the one you don't ask. you got to ask questions, okay? And if you're made to feel less than you really think you should feel, seek another opinion. All right, don't let anyone put you down. You got to be your own advocate. Step up.
Yeah, let me see if I can get into a couple of the questions because you guys are bombarding me with them. Somebody is asking, good morning, can we do the same as it pertains to men? Men, please, was it andropause?
Oh yeah, male andropause.
Pause,
That's the
uh-huh.
male menopause. I alluded to that. At the age of 35, men's testosterone levels drop. Okay, so it's important that you build muscle because the process of building muscle, doing resistance exercises, lifting weights, helps to produce testosterone. So that helps to keep it up. But the other thing is when you do your annual tests, you need to make sure you check your testosterone levels because having low testosterone levels would make you sluggish, slow, you start to put on weight, you have memory issues, all of that stuff. So it's important that you pay attention to that as a male. Okay, get them checked and do something. We'll go back to the exercise. You got to move, you got to do things. You have to employ those muscles. You have to keep them developing. Otherwise, your testosterone will drop. And yeah, it happens to all of us. Women have menopause, men have andropause. We get older, so we have to keep a tab on things, look at it. And if you need supplementation, it's out there. That's why they make it.
Why are men, I mean, humans generally, but why are men so fearful of doctors? Why don't we see doctors as our friend, but we see like it's almost like doctors are the enemies. Like I hate this one so much, but I have to go to him.
Yeah.
You know, why do we have that feeling towards doctors, especially men?
I have no idea. Maybe it's because they're afraid that we're going to zero in on their prostate and give them the digital rectal examination. You know, we can discuss this. There's many questions we can ask that would tell us whether you have an issue with your prostate. The blood test is a good thing for us to do, even though literature out there says it's neither here nor there. Yes, we can interpret that when we get it back. And we can do an ultrasound without having to invade your privacy and to see if your prostate is up. So don't use that as an excuse. The other thing is a lot of guys are just afraid of getting sick and showing weakness and vulnerability. But it's your health. There's no worse time than you're lying in bed and somebody has to change your nappies for you and wipe you up and make you like you're a child again. So take in front. Look after yourself so you don't have to get there.
I want to go back a bit to the stress part of it, and how can you advise us in terms of managing it, and so we don't get to that point where it affects us? Because I was listening to a podcast some couple days ago, and one of they were saying cancers love when your body's in a stressful state. It feeds off of it, and the more stressed you are, it's the better for them.
Yeah. Again, you need to deal with situations as they arise. A lot of us try to sweep stuff under the rug, okay? If you have a conflict at work, okay, breathe, think it through, and then deal with it, as opposed to just swallowing it. It builds up. It's cumulative. So therefore, when you have issues, you need to handle them. If you have things you need to do, get them done so they don't sit on top of you and ride on you. It's about handling situations, dealing with problems here and now, and getting them done. Sitting down and worrying about where your next paycheck is coming from is a big stress. But if you're in a regular job, fiscal management is important. Handle your business well, handle your money well so that doesn't become a stress. Live within your means. Having 6 or 7 women running out there is not a good thing for you either from the men's side. As for the woman,
No, I think you're moving past that one too quickly. So you need you to take your time and go. I need you to elaborate some more on that part, because that part gets to me. Because here you are struggling in one, but you have 4.
yeah.
Slow down on that part. Tell them again. They're tuning in now.
It's not going to get better, okay? One woman is a handful. One woman is difficult to handle, okay? How much more 4? You're just multiplying the problem. So stay in one place. Make sure you take care of your business. You do things right. Have some self-respect for yourself. Here's a good one. Be a man. So now you ask me, what is a man?
What is a man?
A man is somebody who takes responsibility, who takes ownership of what he does, okay, and wants to be a leader in society. Now we're in the ladies' room. I say, so what about the ladies?
Let me make sure the camera on you alone so they could stone you.
So you see the beads of sweat on my forehead.
Yeah.
What about the ladies? There's no one head. There's two heads. My wife always tells me, I may be the head, but she is the neck. All right? This is important. We are a unit. We are a team. A man is nothing without a woman. A woman can be a heck of a lot without a man, but a partnership always works better. Look at the biggest companies on this planet. They're partnerships. They're conglomerates. There's people who've come together to do things together. This is important, and it's the same thing in your life. So handling, you might think you can handle 5 or 6 or 10 or 4 or 3 women, but at the end of the day, think about what that does to you. You're always running from pillar to post. You're burning the candle at both ends and in the middle. What is that going to do to you later on in your life? Stress, anxiety, worry, depression. Adds up to healthcare issues. So slow down. Conquer where you are. Like in business, you consolidate, you make sure everything's working, and then you grow. I'm not saying you consolidate, make sure everything's working at home, and then go and get the outside woman. I'm not saying that, okay?
I like that. So we have that out of the way, so we can move on now. But seriously, someone here is also asking. Oh, let me just pull it up. Oh, the comments are moving really quickly. Hold on. Someone says, I think it's not the fear of the doctor, it's the fear of the findings, especially when you don't do regular checkups. How regular is regular? What do you recommend for both men and women?
Annual.
Annual.
I mean,
like you said, the birthday.
There's one person that recently did 2 annual checkups in a year. No, he doesn't live here.
That's something not right.
Yeah, but a lot of the millions of people buy his nonsense. So anyhow, there's annual every single year. Remember I said you have a birthday every year. So around about that time is a good reminder for yourself. Once a year. People talk about the fear of what is going to be found, but you want to find it early. Let's look at cancer. Every single cancer in this body can be cured so long as it is found early. It's when it's late, it is spread to other organs and other parts of your body. That's when you're in a trouble. So you want to do these things early and get them checked. Very important. And don't worry, you're going to lose your dignity. All right, let's go back and talk about women. When a woman has a pap smear done, she's lying there facing the person doing the pap smear. When a man has a rectal exam done, he can turn his back on you and he doesn't have to look you in the eye as you're examining him. So it's worse for women. But women are the ones that come and get these things done because they're cognizant of what is going on. More of them should be, but also, the men, come on, man, do it. Because at the end of the day, we're going to say, okay, you have X, Y, and Z, we're going to treat you for this, and then the problem is solved as opposed to lingering and getting worse.
Yeah, when it's like stage 4 and gone.
Yeah, living in hope. That doesn't exist. There's a place in Grenada called Hope, but hey.
not in this life. Another thing I've noticed a lot about of Doc is alcohol consumption, especially in young people. And it's not just men, it's both sexes consuming a lot. And I'm not talking about going the occasional drink, but it's almost like they drink to survive, they drink to live. Like Monday to Sunday, weekend, probably you'll take a drink, you'll go out. But it's like every day if they don't consume alcohol, it's like, how does that affect our health?
Well, excessive amounts of alcohol is detrimental to your health, without a doubt. But a lot of people use it as a coping mechanism because some drink to remember, some drink to forget. Lots of people drink to forget, to blank it out, to deal with the stress of a daily life. But then you see, alcohol is also addictive. The more you drink, the more you want to drink, the more you keep drinking, the worse you feel, the more you think, it's like the hair of the dog in the morning. You have a very heavy night. Best way to deal with that hangover is have another drink the next day. But you keep doing that, and you're going to spiral downhill. You're going to start damaging your liver. You're going to start damaging your heart. Oh, yeah. Okay, I got to wipe the sweat off my brow now. Hold on 1 second.
Yeah. All right. You have you getting all hot in here.
Oh, no, I'm not getting hot. I'm just like nice and shiny. That's me. Thank you.
Yes.
So, yeah, again, it's no good. Everything in moderation is the key to success in life. If you can have a glass of whiskey or whatever at the end of the day. You can have a glass of red wine at the end of the day. That's not a problem. If you're drinking half a bottle, you're drinking a bottle every day. That is going to be a problem. So you have to put limits on what you do.
And something I also hear people saying a lot of, well, we always say don't eat this, don't eat that. Well, what to eat? We can't afford to buy, healthy food, whatever. But I always say to people, it's to me, it's about moderation. It's not over consuming one type and neglecting the other. Yesterday morning, it was yesterday morning, afternoon. Overheard, a gentleman telling another one, my coworker. My coworker was saying to him, he went to buy food, whatever, and you need to eat more greens, and he was like, I don't like greens. I doesn't eat greens. What that good for? I'm like, so I'm like, you don't eat greens, like no vegetable. And say, nah, you don't like them thing and them macaroni pie and rice, and that's what you like.
There's diabetes waiting to happen.
What is fear of like eating vegetables?
Again, you see this with your kids. Some of them they don't want to go near vegetables, and no matter how hard you try, they just don't want to eat their veggies. But there's ways around that. There's ways around that. Cajoling, bribing, whatever, and get them to get a taste for it. But that goes back to the household, sitting down, having meals with the kids, explaining things, trying to get them to do stuff. I mean, one of the hardest things in this world is trying to bring a child up. Oh my God, they have their own minds. But eventually, it's by interacting, by communicating. Eventually, they'll get it in there. But again, that diet is key. And you made a point there that people say it's very expensive in Grenada and lots of other places to eat healthy food. Okay, you have your diabetics there who can just barely afford to buy a piece of bread and stuff some cheese in it, and that's a meal, washed down with a Coke. That's a disaster for a diabetic.
Super drinking that first thing in the morning.
Oh, yeah.
That's breakfast.
Absolutely. Have a Coke and a smile. That's the worst thing you can do. How much sugar in that? Sorry, Grenada Bottling. I apologize. But it is...
Moderation.
Exactly, moderation. Nothing wrong with having a Coke every now and then. But if you're drinking 2, 3, 4 Cokes a day, you got problems with that. It's too much sugar in that. Again, people need fiscal planning. We talked about that. You buying the stuff in the supermarket might be a lot more expensive than going to the market and buying it from there, okay? Or, God forbid, growing it yourself.
I mean, it's so easy. The other day I was joking about some peppers that I threw out, and then I'm seeing these little, I'm like, what is this? I never seen nice yellow bell peppers growing that I did not do anything to, except I thought they were no good. I took the seeds, dried them, and then I thought maybe it's too dry, so it's no good. Threw them out and they're growing.
We're really blessed in Grenada. We have extremely fertile soil. We have wonderful climate, and things just grow with very, very little effort. Again, let's get back to community. We all interact together. Bob down the road there who grows something. You might have something he needs. It doesn't have to be about money. It's just an exchange. And you give him something, he gives you something, and this way we can all work together and get things going on. I mean, I'm in a privileged position and very, very lucky in that a number of patients will come and drop stuff for me. So
I can
you
attest to that. I get my little bag every day.
Yeah, exactly. And that's wonderful. But then we can pass it on. If you come along and you have, I share some knowledge with you. We talk about your health, and then give you a little blood test here and there, or whatnot. You give back that way to these people. So again, yes, money is key to making everything function, but it's not everything.
Well, you seem to have passed the vibe test. Someone says Doc is speaking in layman's terms. He's not using medical jargon. Well spoken. Definitely have to come back. Well, they've officially booked you for come back again because they said they want to get into different topics, different health topics, and not make. But as we were just talking today, wanted to do everything sort of generalized it, but they're saying we need you back to break down certain different health issues.
I could do that.
Okay, so we got him. You can do it. All righty, well, we're getting ready to wrap up. Anything else, Doc, you want to let us do before we go?
No, nothing. I know there's been a lot packed into a short space of time, but let's just recap. Look after yourselves. Make sure you get those annual checkups. And speak up. Ask the questions. Don't just sit there and come in the office and say,
your
sir,
wife.
yeah, what's wrong with you, sir? I don't know. That's what I'm here for. You tell me. Well, if you don't tell me, I don't know what's wrong with you. So communicate, talk, ask questions, educate yourself. Everything's on the internet. Read it.
Yeah, not WebMD. Or go on ChatGPT and put in your symptoms, and you may have
then you're
this
dead.
cancer, and then you're dead. But yeah, and especially the men, we're in 2025. We're seriously about to go into 2026, and there are people who are into the whole making new resolutions, what have you. Let that be starting a new year fresh. Let that be on the top of your list, because every time I go to social media, I'm seeing a RIP, and when I click, I'm like, I went to school with that person. Oh, I know this young. It's like people are dying younger and younger. Back in the day, most you would hear some high blood pressure, or maybe diabetes, or old people would say sugar. That's what you heard people dying from, back in the day, and it wasn't as frequent as we're seeing it now. All sorts of cancer of your eye, toe, foot, you name it. Even dying from, and even people with high blood pressure, young people with high blood pressure.
People in their 30s getting strokes. How's that happening? Because stress, anxiety, poor lifestyle choices, smoking, drinking,
Smoking as well.
Oh, the
Smoking and
thing.
alcohol.
I have a favorite saying. There's only two people that really love smoking. It's the doctors and the people who sell the tobacco, because we make money off of it. Everybody else, it just becomes addicted and they're on it. You don't look cool when you're puffing on a cigarette. Forget that. You don't look cool. You just look like a fool and smell like an ashtray. So look after yourselves.
That's what we're talking about. All right, guys. Doc, it was an absolute pleasure having you on the program this morning. And like I said, you passed the vibe test. They absolutely love you. And the room is filled with ladies, and they absolutely love you, all 100 plus of them. So I'm saying you have to come back and definitely delve into some more topics. Ask the doc his thoughts on using intermittent fasting as a tool for health improvement.
Yeah, absolutely.
You believe in that?
We eat too much. We eat too much.
How much are we supposed to eat per day? Because we
Well-
have this saying that we're supposed to eat 3 meals a day: breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and then you still have snacks in between.
Aha. You can eat 3 meals a day, but like I said, you don't have to eat like if for the village in Africa every single meal. Very small breakfast, some fruit, some fruit, vegetables, maybe some protein, a light lunch, a well-rounded dinner. That's okay. You could do that. 3 squares and a cot. That's a prison.
No, what we have is 3 big carbohydrate meals for the carbs
Exactly.
in the morning, carbs for lunch, and carbs. And you eat carbs about after 8, 9, 10 in the night. You eat in barbecue, you eat in fries, you eat in, and
right.
then as soon as you finish eat after 9, 10, you get to bed, and then the next day you start the cycle all over again.
And then you just get bigger and bigger and bigger, and then you come and see the doctor. I don't want to do that.
Doctor, I'm sure you could do for me. Actually, as people ask you, do you ever think like you've made the right choice in your decision to be a doctor? You feel like you have people's life. Like people sit there. I heard somebody ask, "Doc, what you could do for me?" Like,
It's an awesome responsibility, and over time it does weigh heavily on you, because you do have people's lives in your hands, and occasionally you're dealing with people that pass away on you, and it is hard. But however, we're blessed, we're privileged in being allowed to do this, and we have a great responsibility, and we have to take it seriously. We are not gods, not by any stretch of the imagination. We should never think that we are. We're here to help people, and we need to make sure that we do help people, and just be honest with ourselves and the people that we deal with.
someone just sent me their lunch with a whole lot of dressing on top of it.
Oh Lord, you could eat. That's
Healthy
3 meals
lunch
right there.
with a whole lot of nice veggies and looked like grilled chicken breasts and a whole lot of, is that cheese or dressing on top of it?
Yeah, but you could
Your
split
po-
that in half.
your pot-
Eat some now, eat some tomorrow.
That person, that's going down right now, all of it. Doc, again, a very, very, very interesting program with you this morning, and thank you so very much. So they're saying you definitely have to come back. So
I will.
we will talk about it. You'll tell me when and how your schedule looks, and what we can, how we can break it down. Yeah.
Absolutely.
And Joanne says very informative and educational program today. Thanks, Aruna and Doc, for the insights. We appreciate the information and, of course, the honesty. Yeah. Why do people think that doctors aren't honest?
Yeah, that's because we're trying to make money.
I like that. Guys, we'll see you tomorrow. Final one for the week. Same time, same place. Thank you so much, Beacon Insurance, Western Union, and of course, Nirvana Spa and Detox for powering up our morning once again. Have yourselves a great Wednesday, everybody, and we'll check in again tomorrow, same time, same place.